La di da 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 da. What the? Hey, how'd you guys get in here? Hey, hey, knife community, knife enthusiasts, obsessed knife people. Folder here. I'm not sure how you guys got into my office, but now that you're here, I'm gonna do a video on maintenance, on aesthetic maintenance of um, of knives for appearance. You know, we lube these knives and we take care of them and we do this and we do that and have them resharpened and all this stuff to keep our tools working right. But you know, maybe you also want them to continue to look good. And I'm not talking about, and I'm specifically really talking more about knife scales, uh, the porous knife scales, the G10s, the carbon fiber, the micarta. Um, we forget that these things require a certain amount of maintenance to keep them looking good also. You know, we always think about the titanium, you know, you can polish it, you can clean the metals, but what about this? So yeah, so at any rate, let's just, whoa, let's get into it. Did I just guillotine my finger? No, I didn't. Okay, it's close. Okay, don't take your eye off the puck. I did a little bit. I did. You play with knives, you'll get cut a little bit from time to time. At any rate, okay. So the the um, the the scales the scales of these knives definitely need maintenance because they get dried out, and you kind of think like maybe I actually did cut myself. Unbelievable. The scales of these knives need maintenance, and you kind of always have to do something to keep them looking fresh, keep them from being too dried out. We look at G10 and we don't realize that, yeah, that's what you definitely need to do. So you want to really use a product that is okay. It's okay to handle. Um, it's okay to handle with your hands, where you're not going to be in a situation where you're using this thing and it's some type of toxic chemical that now, okay, yo, after you use that, you know, you got to wash your hands. I mean, you got to wash your hands anyway, but, you know, I'm just saying, you really want something that's food grade that will add moisture and and sheen to your scales and keep them looking nice. And what I highly recommend is a food grade mineral oil. I use this, uh, but you can use any brand, any model, any manufacturer you want. But this is a food grade mineral oil that you can use on wood, you can use on plastics, you can use it on really almost anything. And you know, it's excellent for keeping things. And this one happens to be for cutting boards, but it's not just for cutting boards. It's just that, you know, that's the primary focus. Um, but I'm actually using it on my scales. These three knives I just recently have done, and yeah, they have a sheen to them. And it doesn't last forever. I mean, yeah, after a few days, whatever, even sitting in your box, whatever, it's gonna dry out a little bit. But the more you do it, as time goes on and time goes on, it just keeps that that look, that fresh look. Um, it's part of your maintenance. You know, the same way you lube your Fossil Bronze washers or your bearings and your the pivot bolts and the tang of your blade. The same way you lube those things, you know, you're gonna want to lube up your porous knife scales. So the way I do it is I just take a small little bowl, and I put a little dot, just a little dot boop of the oil in there. So now when you go into the bottom of the thing, it's on your finger like that, and bam, that's it. And because it's food grade, you can just take this thing and you can be liberal with it. You don't have to worry about it hurting, literally hurting anything. And you just take it and you apply it to all sections of the knife or of the scales. And you really want to take your time and get every little crevice, really rub it in there nice. I sometimes take the clips off, sometimes I don't. If I choose not to take off the clip, then I'll use one of these knife pivot lube gauzes, Q-tips, if you will, and I dab a little bit of the oil, and now I can get underneath my scales. I mean, underneath my pocket clip. You can get underneath the clip in areas where your finger can't get to. You even can raise the clip up and slide underneath the part that's, underneath the part that, goes and attaches to the your pants. And also any little tight spot where your fingers can't get to. Just to make sure that all the G10 gets some G10 or the carbon fiber or the micarta, whichever one you're doing. They're all done the same exact way. It doesn't matter if it's G10, it doesn't matter if it's carbon fiber. You're using a food grade mineral oil. Can't get any better than that. You're not gonna, you're not poisoning anything. You're not gonna poison yourself. And, it's excellent. Where's my, I gotta wipe my blades off. It's excellent for that. Yeah, wire clips. You use the knife pivot lube Q-tip here, or you can use a Q-tip. I just use these because they're designed for this, literally designed for it. And you can get right underneath these wire clips without having to take the clip off if you don't feel like taking it off. You pull the clip up a little bit and you get underneath, underneath the section that's attached to your pants, and now you got all that underneath there. Boom. All right, that's done, and then the rest of it you can just hit with your finger. Liberal, just right on, run it right on there. And what you're gonna notice is that after doing this a few times and having this as your routine maintenance, this is something that you do all the time. I mean, I wouldn't say, listen, if you have a bunch of knives, right, and maybe for a month you carry this knife, for a month you carry that knife, you put one knife away, then you grab the other one, and then before you start putting it in your pocket, spruce it up. Just spruce it up. So now it's good. It's gonna dry out, like I said, the next day or 2 or 3 days later. It won't be as shiny as this. It'll absorb into it, but it added moisture and not that dried out effect to the scale. I did this one earlier. I can pull here's a this is a good example because I just did this before you guys interfered. I don't know how that happened, by the way, how you guys got into onto my workbench here, but before that happened I did this scale, and I haven't done this one, and you can see a difference. You can see a difference. You can see a difference. So it's just part of the cleaning process. I mean, if your knife needs to be cleaned, you clean it first, right? You take a simple cleaner, simple green, something that's easy. I actually use lens cleaner or glass cleaner. I actually use this lens cleaner. It's for cleaning TVs and cell phones and laptops. I use that because it's for glass or it's for a screen, so it's not going to be harsh. Uh, if you have a knife that you're beating up outside and it's your beater knife, then then you can come out there and use a harsher chemical on it. But these are for, listen, if you're a person that doesn't care, that just uses knives as tools, and you don't necessarily care about maintaining your knife like this, then, maybe this video is not for you. You know, but I would imagine that if you're a knife enthusiast, and all knives are tools, they are tools, but let's face it, we some knives we use for heavy tasks and we don't really care that much about the condition of them, and some knives we care more about the condition of them. We'll use them to cut, but we're not going to do some crazy stuff with them where you're really damaging the knife. You're going to just do light tasks with them, and then the rest of the time we're going to spend enjoying the action, enjoying how they look, and just marveling at what they are and appreciating them. So that's what that is. So yeah, you just, like I said, you get yourself a dish. You can use a Q-tip, or you can get some, knife pivot lube swabs like this to get underneath the tight areas, and a food grade mineral oil. And you apply it liberally, and it's not greasy. That's the thing. It looks greasy, but it's not, and it absorbs into the product. So later on, it won't be greasy at all. It's not like it's gonna. So yeah, all right. So all right, guys, that's it. All I got. Take care.